Hello and welcome to Cliff Reviews Art House. This time I'm reviewing the film Brother, directed by Clement Virgo. So I've had an interesting experience with Brother. I've actually seen it twice but had very different experiences with it. I streamed it at home on the Curzon Home Cinema service. I really enjoyed it, but there was something that I realised wasn't quite right. I'd read in a review that we hear Nina Simone singing the song Ne me quitte pas twice in the film. When the film finished, I hadn't heard it. The more I looked into it, I realised that most of the music was missing from the version that I watched. So I went to see it again on the big screen, and this time there was the music. I'm so glad I realised this. The first thing to say is that it looked so much better on the big screen. I'd really enjoyed how this film looks on the small screen. The interior of the flat with its reds, yellows and blues, the actors' faces, but it looked so much better on the big screen. I guess it's not news that seeing a film on a big screen is much better than on a TV screen, even if it is 4K. So this is a film about two brothers and their mother over a 20-year period. We keep jumping between when they're around 10, 20 and 30. The reviews of this film have been somewhat mixed. People generally have said good things about it but have complained about the length and the time shifts being confusing. Personally, I loved this film. I didn't have either of these problems. I've sat through the 2 hours of it twice and thoroughly enjoyed it both times. I also thought that the time shifts worked really well. It wasn't confusing at all. It does shift quite a bit between the different time periods, but I thought the film really effectively communicated who is who and what's happening when. Right from the opening scene I was on board. The geometry of the power lines and pylons are aesthetically so strong. The danger, strong current sign, the camera panning back on the two brothers standing there with their back to us, the conversation as the elder brother Francis explains to his younger brother Michael the importance of getting it right when they climb the pylon, the loud buzzing and hum of the electricity. This felt like a really exciting start to the film. The brothers don't say much to each other at this point, but we already feel the chemistry between them. I just thought it felt gripping right from the start. Now, I've seen the trailer for this film quite a lot. It seems to have been shown at every film I've seen in the cinema over the past few weeks. There are some trailers that I love watching multiple times, but this one got boring. I thought that it seemed like the film was going to be totally predictable. So I approached the film with quite low expectations, but it completely confounded my expectations. I really enjoyed it. The acting is so good, especially the three main characters, the two brothers and the mum. The younger brother, Michael, is the centre of the film, I think, and he's so good. He's quiet, he's subdued, he's humble, but there's also a strength and resilience. This is a top-rate acting performance, so convincing and so much more than just saying lines. For me, this is Oscar-level acting. The film is about the difficulties of growing up in an immigrant single-parent family. The mum is sincere and does seem to care, but the children end up being neglected due to her need to work and the fact that she has no energy left when she's at home. There's very little emotional support for these boys. We really get a sense of how scary it is to grow up where there's constant danger around the place that you live. Michael is really sensitive and we feel his reaction to the violence that he sees around him, both in the neighbourhood and on the TV. Yet this is where we see his resilience. He seems vulnerable, but somehow he's present for it all. He never runs away. The elder brother Francis is really interesting too, and again the acting is great. He's a big man, so much stronger in his appearance than Michael. But we do get a real sense of how vulnerable and fearful Francis is underneath this mask, the sense of low self-esteem and the need to keep up a front. The mum is stretched to the limit and this has a big impact on the two boys. They become caretakers and this has dramatic negative effects for both of them. Neither of them is able to live with any freedom. It's a fantastic character study of a dysfunctional family situation that's brought about not because people are bad, but because of the economic circumstances and realities. It's a really sad film. Neither boy achieves his potential. Francis has such big dreams and is so disappointed that the reality turns out very different. Michael is different in the sense that he's already kind of realised that he has to minimise his own life in order to take care of his mother. I really liked these characters and became quite emotionally involved in the film. In this way, the disappointments and the violence are palpable. The film was so successful in making me feel for their situation. I was really with the characters. Certain scenes were very unsettling in this regard. When Michael sees a man beaten up badly and goes over to check on him, there's something really unsettling about the way the man turns around and starts laughing in a crazy way. And we see the electricity pylon behind and hear the buzz of the electricity. It's a really powerful scene. I also really flinched when the mum threw a jar of pickles at Michael. This film had me fully engaged. The electricity pylons and the brothers' attempt to climb them is a recurring motif in the film, and we keep hearing the buzzing of the electricity throughout the film. I think the pylons represent a pointless achievement where Francis can be the man that he really wants to be. He can be the strong one guiding his brother, and he can achieve the difficult feat of climbing the pylon and enjoy the reward of the spectacular view from the top. This contrasts with everything else in his life, which is a great disappointment. It was interesting watching this film with virtually no music on the faulty version. It meant that there was a lot of silence, sometimes complete silence if there was only music in the real film. While I was watching it the first time, I actually found this really powerful. I was thinking that I'd never seen a film employ silence so much, and I really liked it. It gave a real emphasis to the acting. When I saw it with music, I was a bit unsure if it was as good as the silent version. I was so emotionally engaged with the film without music. Adding music after not having it just seemed like a bit too much. This is particularly the case in the final scene, which is a montage to the Nina Simone song. For me, the last few minutes of the film were completely silent, but I found this breathtaking. When I saw it the second time with the music, it just seemed to be introducing too much explicit sentimentality. It's really hard to judge what I would have thought if I'd only seen the proper version. I'm sure I would have still liked it. I recently discussed how I think that montages can be a cop-out when I reviewed the film Incredible But True. This film had such good acting that I do feel it would have really benefited from acting in the final scenes rather than effectively a music video. But I still really enjoyed it the second time. This is a fantastic film and I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.